So we'll let this, there we go. We're ready to go back to the PowerPoint. So just in general, know the functions of the thalamus, functions of the hypothalamus, and the midbrain, pons, and medulla oblongata. And then we have the cerebellum, the little brain, which helps us to walk and talk, mostly move and maintain posture, learn movements like riding a bike or driving a car, fine-tunes those movements, and it links to the brainstem and into the spinal cord and into the cerebrum. Then we have the medulla oblongata. Know that it's relays information to the cerebral cortex, controls heartbeat and breathing. Read through this. Then we have the peripheral nervous system, which is any of the nervous system outside the central nervous system. So the peripheral nervous system sends information to the central nervous system and moves information from the central nervous system to the outside functions of the sensory system. So cell bodies that are grouped in your gut, for instance, those are where ganglion or cell bodies occur. So the peripheral nervous system, we'll find out, includes the cranial nerves and the spinal nerves. The spinal nerves are carrying information to the spinal cord and then to the brain. And then also the cranial nerves are carrying information to and from the brain primarily. Okay, so there's 12 pairs of cranial nerves, olfactory, optic, oculomotor. So you should know the names of the cranial nerves and the number. So the cranial nerves, olfactory, the sense of smell is very important. Then the optic nerve, movement of the eye, and so on. Trochlea, trigeminal are involved in facial movements and eating and keeping your head up, and for this control of the face and swallowing and so on. So the abductions, facial, trochlea, these are all involved in smiling and making your faces and control of swallowing and tongue activity and so on. The vestibulocochlear nerve is the 8th cranial nerve, and it's involved in balance and equilibrium and hearing. The glossopharyngeal, number 9, here's taste and swallowing, mostly controlled. Central nervous system in some of these activities, glossopharyngeal, taste and swallowing. The vagus means the wanderer. It leaves the brain from the pons and medulla oblongata, and it's going to control digestive function, bladder function, respiratory function, and so on. And autonomic control of viscera. So your viscera are the lungs, the bladder, the lungs, and whatever else is packed in those cavities. Okay, let's keep going. So you should know the names of the spinal cord in general, what they do, and know the number that goes with the various names. So if you look at the cranial nerves, you start at the superior view, and you have the olfactory bulb, and then as you move from the top of the brain to the bottom, you can see that they go from 1 to 12. So know the name and the number that goes with it. So here's an illustration. So we have olfactory nerve, optic nerve, oculomotor nerve, and then we have the trochlear nerve, the trigeminal nerve. And, okay, so know the name and the number that goes with it and the general function. Spinal nerves are all the nerves that bring information to the spinal cord and take information out of the spinal cord, because many activities such as the control of the cervical and the neck and the chest and the lumbar region and the sacral region, all these spinal nerves carry information to the central nervous system and away from the central nervous system. So these are the four plexuses. You basically just need to know their names. And cervical is by the neck, brachial is by the arms, lumbar is by the okay. So let's dermatomes are various parts of the skin that are controlled by nerves from the various plexi. Okay, so what's a reflex? Let's stop there and go back to the system, and let's stop recording there.